Hello students, welcome. I'm Vipul Mittal. In this video, I will discuss what conditions must be met that you may be able to claim tax exemption on Series EE bonds interest. These bonds are also called qualified US saving bonds. What conditions must be met for claiming tax exemption on interest on Series EE bonds? So generally, interest on Series EE bonds is taxable. So you invest in those bonds. On redemption, you get the interest back along with the principal. So when you get interest at the time of redemption, that is generally taxable. But you may be able to exclude interest on Series EE bonds from your gross income if certain conditions are met. What are those conditions? Let's see. Bonds are issued after 1989. First condition that bonds are issued to you after 1989 that you may be able to claim exemption. These qualified US saving bonds or Series E bonds are issued to you after 1989. Next condition. You are the original buyer and you have bought this from the US government. And at the time of purchase, you are 24 years or older. Certain conditions must be met that you may be able to claim exemption on interest on qualified US saving bonds or Series E bonds. If you are married, then you must file a joint return for that tax year that you may be able to claim exemption on this interest. And the most important condition is that proceeds are used for qualified higher education. So proceeds from redemption of these bonds are used for qualified higher education of yourself or of your spouse or dependents, but proceeds are used for qualified higher education. So if these proceeds are used for paying tuition and fees of yourself or your spouse or your dependents, then you may be able to claim exemption on this interest. So certain conditions must be met that you may be able to claim exemption on interest on Series EE bonds. These bonds are issued after 1989 to you. You are the original buyer. When you bought these bonds, you were 24 years or older. If you're married, then you must file a joint return so that you may be able to claim exemption for that year. And to claim exemption, proceeds from the bonds are used for qualified higher education of yourself or your spouse or your dependents. So keep these conditions in mind when you are deciding whether interest on Series E bonds is taxable or exempt. All right, students. I hope this was helpful. We'll connect again. Goodbye.